everyone, it's Baraka the Doula Scientist. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I just wanted to give a quick update really quick. So I was supposed to go, a lot of people may or may not know, but I am recovering from lupus nephritis, kidney failure, and I'm currently on dialysis. The most recent update is that I am moving my catheter because I currently have a catheter in my heart, connecting to the atrium of my heart. And so I'm going to be moving that catheter, or replacing that catheter rather, and I'm going to be moving it into my stomach. It is a surgery that's going to take about 2 hours. And once I have that catheter placed into my stomach, it's considered peritoneal dialysis is what it's called. I will be able to continue dialysis from home. And that is something that is definitely in the last couple of weeks, ever since I went ahead and got out of myself, right, and was able to decide to get this surgery. It's something that has really helped my mental health and my ability to see forward past kidney failure. So I know you guys kind of see the title. We're talking about lupus nephritis, but I wanted to also go ahead and talk about a couple of other things as well. I wanted us to discuss what lupus nephritis is, because I know a lot of people are unfamiliar with lupus nephritis, other than hearing about Selena Gomez with her lupus nephritis and having a kidney transplant. And we want to talk about that. We're also going to talk about my individual journey with lupus nephritis and how I got here. A lot of people have a lot of questions because they're always like, wow, you're so young and you're already in the holistic health field. You're already so healthy. Like, you are the last person that I could expect would have kidney failure. And so I want to talk about what that journey looked like for me, as well as how you can support me. During this time, I had a lot of issues with just being open with my community about what has happened to me. My kidneys actually failed in 2021 in the summer. So it's been almost 3 years since I experienced kidney failure, which is really crazy to think about. And I just got to the place recently, which I'm not blaming myself for it or shaming myself for it, because, you know, this healing process, it's a process. That's exactly what it is. But at the same time, it took me a very long time to be able to share this with my community. And as soon as I started sharing it, it seems like everyone from everywhere was like reaching out to me and trying to help me, trying to be there for me. And I am just so overwhelmed with love and like gratitude for everyone who has reached out to me in this process. And because of that, I know I haven't been on YouTube in a while and you guys haven't seen a video from me, but I plan to continue to share content with you guys as I go through this journey and share things that I've learned, share things that have been helpful. And I can't wait to do that with you guys. So yay, let's do it. So I told you guys I would talk to you guys about what lupus nephritis is. So lupus nephritis, let's start with lupus. Lupus is actually an autoimmune disorder. It is where your antibodies, instead of, people are always talking about how it's like your body is attacking itself. That's the experience. But what's really happening is your immune system is confused. And so because your immune system is confused, instead of creating antibodies against invaders that happen to attack your body, it's attacking healthy tissue within the body. So that is what, like, when that translates into lupus nephritis, nephritis is the part of it where it is affecting specifically your kidneys. And so your kidneys, they are the part of your body that filter out toxins and fluid. And so when that doesn't happen, your blood gets overwhelmed with all of these toxins, all of these fluids. and it creates all these little funky little problems. And so this is what happened to me. I have lupus nephritis. I got diagnosed with lupus when I was 20 years old. And for 5 years, I actually maintained my disease prescription drug free, using just diet, exercise, and learning how to balance my emotional traumas. And I started doing that with art. And it's been this journey that has kind of aligned me to help other people, because I got so deep into it. I also became an herbalist and a doula and a holistic nutrition coach. And all these things just started pouring into my life about how we exist and how we lack alignment and balance. And I'll tell you, a lot of people will tell you, or they'll say like, oh, because right at this moment in our society, health is very trendy. And so people will say, oh yeah, you need to drink your green juice 5 times a week, and you need to do yoga, and you need to do these. But what I've learned, like maintaining a disease like lupus, is that it's really all about maintaining balance with everything in your life, making sure that you have a good eating regime, make sure that you are exercising. It's not so much that you are doing a specific exercise or you're even doing it so vigorously that it's harming you. You have to really just like hone in on your body, because all of our bodies are different. And that is the message of autoimmune, right? Is maintaining that balance. We talk a lot about how autoimmune disorders are also genetic. Yes, they are genetic. No one in my family has lupus, but my mother got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called vesiculitis in 2018. And my aunt, her sister, also has an autoimmune disorder that actually only affects 3,000 people in the entire planet, which is completely insane. And it's crazy. But I mean, fortunately for them, and also still unfortunately, right? Because it doesn't mean anything, but they got diagnosed like way much later than I did. And so you can kind of see like how this is playing into our genetics, like as a family. So genetics aren't everything. Just because you have something genetically imprinted in your body, it doesn't mean that it's going to always show up. However, you're going to always have triggers. And the main thing is to make sure that you understand what your triggers are. And if you don't know what they are, you need to pay attention to when you do have issues, when you have health issues, when they come up. And when I'm talking about health issues coming up, I'm talking about flares. So that's what typically happens. Okay, I'm just going to give you guys a little alert, but it's about to get a little sad. So in 2020, I was 6 months pregnant with my second child. And I went on a road trip with my now ex-partner. And we drove from Austin to Tijuana. And on the way back, we lost our baby. And I was 6 months pregnant at the time. At the time, I thought that would be the hardest thing that I'd ever have to do. But then 6 months later I got admitted into the hospital with 21% kidney function. And that's when I learned that my kidneys were failing. And they had actually been failing since I lost my baby. And so that was something that was really hard, because it was like a double-edged sword in a way. You know, I was still mourning. And then around that same time, me and my partner were also breaking up. So it was just like 3 or 4 things that are happening all at once. And that is what I have learned. Like, if you look at my history throughout having this disease, is that my triggers are stress. Every single time, an emotional stressor, it will put me down way farther than eating a steak or whatever, you know? And a lot of other people who have autoimmune disorders will tell you the same thing, that stress is a really big factor in how their disease is working, how it makes them feel, and all these different things. So another reason that I made this video is because I really want to encourage people who are not just people who have autoimmune disorders or dealing with lupus nephritis, but people who actually are supporting people who have lupus or autoimmune disorders. It's just making sure that they're not stressed. Like, it's very simple things. It's helping people clean. It's helping people work these things out. And of course, I'm going to make another video for you guys just to kind of tell you guys more about what are some things that are really helpful when you are helping manage a disease as well as support someone with a disease. But right now, we're just going to stay on topic and continue to talk about the lupus nephritis. So last year, 2022, February 1st, I actually started dialysis. And this is another surgery where they actually stick 2 catheter tubes into my chest in the atrium of my heart. And so one tube connects to a dialyzer, and then the other tube, it allows the blood that goes through the dialyzer that's been cleaned to come back into my body. And that is acting as my kidney. And that's been my kidney for the last year. And what that looks like for me is I have to physically go to a facility 3 times a week for 4 hours. And I have to just sit there and allow this process to happen. And it has been something that I really can't put into a lot of words, because it's an experience that gradually just moves you in different ways. Some days I feel great about it and I'm like, you know what? I'm alive and I'm still here, and I can still think and I can still breathe, and it's a beautiful process. But then other days I don't feel well at all. I feel like trash. I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like I'm not going to make it to C30. And those are things I feel like, I feel like I don't have enough time. And that has been my constant back and forth process for a year. And because of that, being able to have a method of receiving dialysis treatment without having to be so tied to the establishment is something that has been a really big dream of mine. So recently, I actually started the process for peritoneal dialysis. And so peritoneal dialysis is where they insert, instead of in my chest, the catheter will go in my stomach. And so I actually have this surgery coming up this week. And I am nervous, excited, anxious about it, because when I first got offered, I actually got offered the peritoneal dialysis last year when I first got on dialysis. But at the time, because I have lupus, and I was going through a flare when my kidneys failed, my doctor was kind of telling me that my kidneys could recover. And so for a year, I was kind of like, I don't want to do 2 surgeries if I don't have to. If my kidneys are going to recover and I get this surgery, why would I do that? And looking back, I really wish I would have just went ahead and got it, because it really would have helped my mental health a lot in this past year. But you live and you learn. Now I'm telling you, you don't do that. Okay? There you go. So that's pretty much where I am now. And I wanted people to know, because I am done being ashamed. And I have had this epiphany that this is information that needs to be shared. And I'm so happy to share it with you all so that you don't have to deal with it, and you can have a better outcome for your family or your friend or your lover or whoever. Because unfortunately, autoimmune disorders are actually increasing between 3 and 9% every year. And they're happening to people who are younger and younger, people who are healthier and healthier seemingly. And we need to be able to have tools to understand how we can fight this without having to harm our own physical bodies. And that is of the most importance. Like maintaining your health is so, so, so important. It's the most valuable currency. So I want to move forward with letting you guys know that I am here and I'm open to answer questions. And I'm also okay at this point with support. So I actually had a friend and neighbor begin a GoFundMe on my behalf. And so you can actually donate to the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe actually funds not only medical bills that have piled up over the last 2 years, but it also affords me the kidney transplant and some surgeries that I have coming up that will allow my life to be more normalized. And I just really appreciate you guys for that. I have the GoFundMe link in the bio. We also have a meal train, and that is also in this bio. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. Continue to buy the 28-day moon journal because that always helps me as well. And I'm really excited for this surgery. Send me your prayers, your love, and enjoy your life. Make love, and thank you.